Hello, everybody. How's it going? I'm glad y'all are here. Thanks for dropping by. I appreciate that. Let's gather around the table here and entertain ourselves and find out what the cards have to say about things that are coming up. I'm kind of curious, so I suspect you are too. At any rate, thank you for your patience. I know it's been, a couple of weeks since I've last been here, and it's all on Mother Nature. I'm sorry, it's just all on Mother Nature because we had about a 2.5 week stretch to where the heat index was getting up between 100 and 105 every day for about 2.5 weeks. And I don't have air conditioning. I just have a fan over here, and the computer, for some reason, yeah, it was, like 105 heat index outside, which meant the actual temperature was in the neighborhood of 97, 98. And inside in here, it'd be 94. A little bit cooler, but nothing to write home about. And just by way of scientific information here, the computers in this house, once the temperature hits 90, they don't want to do anything. They're sitting there panting and suffering, poor little things, and they'll run okay for like 15, 20 minutes, and then you have to turn them off and let them cool off again. And when I'm having to do that, I'm not able to upload anything because like a 15, 20 minute tape here takes me about 20 to 23 hours to upload. And so, yeah, welcome to rural life and rural internet, such as it is. At least it's better than the tin cans and string that we were using before, right? At any rate, so a few days ago, we had a line of thunderstorms go through and it knocked the temperature down. It's been great. I love it. Thank you to all the gods and goddesses and anything else that was involved. It's great. In fact, like yesterday, the high yesterday was 79. Oh, good Lord. It's a great break when you've been dealing with 97. So I had to have a few days to recover from the heat. Like I said, I've only got a fan over here, and I don't do heat very well. I'm a cold weather person. In cold weather, I'm pretty chipper, but in the heat, I just wilt. I was just like melting in my own sweat. And so when the weather cooled off, I gave myself a couple of days to bounce back, and so here I am, ready to go. And so I'm going to try to record as regularly as I can while the temperature is reasonable, because I'm hoping that the worst part of summer is behind us, hopefully. But it's too early to state that for sure because we're still in August, and August can be hella bad. So I ain't taking nothing for granted. I'm appreciating every bit of this temperate weather we're having right now. Lovely. Yeah, see, like day before yesterday, the high was 79. I was mistaken about that when I stated it earlier, because yesterday the high was 81. Today, the high is supposed to be 84. Do we detect a trend here? Oh dear, most alarming. So I was going, oh, I better touch base with my folks while I have the chance, So thanks for coming. I really appreciate you coming and you watching my videos. I enjoy making them for y'all, and I'm looking forward to building up a community and being able to interact with y'all. Right now, I'm not sure if I can live stream just yet. It's one of those things I haven't had the chance to explore. I'm kind of ignorant on the subject. I gotta do some learning so I can figure out how to do it and whether or not I can on the internet that I have here. So until that time, about the only thing I can think of is for y'all to feel free to leave comments. underneath my videos, and because I do try to go through and read them about once a week, and like for example, if there's a question you'd like for me to ask the cards, or if there's a topic that you'd like for me to pursue that I haven't, and there's a bunch of them out there that I haven't gotten to yet. Good Lord, there's been so much stuff happening. How can any one reader keep on top of it? That's one of the reasons. I mean, I've been wanting to dive in and do this anyhow. I was being held back by lack of camera, or lack of something that could act as a camera, like my daughter's dear laptop here. But I feel like there's so much going on, it's hard for just 2 or 3 readers to stay on top of it. We need as many of us as we can contributing to the whole picture, because there's so much to try to keep track of and to keep our eye on, that I feel like all of us can chip in and add to the picture. And I'm more than happy to do what I can. I've been blessed with the talents, and I am so appreciative of that, and I'd like to put them to use. I mean, yes, I love reading the cards on myself and tossing the stones, tossing the cards, throwing the stones, slinging the cards, rolling the dice, doing the pendulum, all of that stuff. I love doing it. And I've been loving doing it for my family all these years and close friends. But I just felt like, the gods, I think, would be happy if I were to attempt to branch out and reach more people, which is what I'm trying to do here. So I really appreciate y'all coming and watching my videos, because it helps me spiritually, which may sound selfish, but it is true. And I do try to be honest as much as I can, anyhow. So, anyhow, before I start shuffling my cards, I had a couple of thoughts I wanted to share with y'all. One thing I've been wanting to do is, right now we're kind of going through dark times, frankly, and sometimes a person just needs a pick-me-up, just to help you catch your breath, have a break from all of the dull, dark negativity that's going on in the world, and just kind of have a little break, a little breath of fresh air. And all of us need that from time to time. It's just human. It's just the way it is. And so I was wanting to share with you some of the people online that I enjoy watching that help me get a breath of fresh air and kind of brighten my day. Now, these people, I don't know them from Adam. Not one of them. I don't know them. And they don't know, so far as I know, they don't know that I watch their channels. I'm just one in the crowd. And so they don't know that I'm going to be calling them out now. I'm calling them out in a positive way, so I hope they don't mind. My apologies to anybody that gets offended by what I say here. I just mean it from a good spot. And so I just wanted to share with y'all, as I say, some of the people that I enjoy watching for various reasons. And I'm just going to start going down. I just jotted a few down here, and I'm just going to go down my list and tell you who they are and tell you why I enjoy them. And the top of the list is Anton Petrov. Anton Petrov is a Russian guy who lives in South Korea, and he does a blog, or whatever you want to call it, that he calls What the Math. And what he's into is astronomy, NASA things going on from the probes on Mars, and anything that you can spot through a telescope, he's going to be right on it. And he occasionally touches on other topics, but overwhelmingly he does space stuff, and it's always interesting stuff. It's like the latest discoveries type stuff. He'll say, a paper got published earlier today, and this is what it says, and here's the link to the paper, and he'll show you it, and he has great graphics on his channel, and he uses a program that I'm would love to get one these days for my computer when I get my computer fixed. Universe Sandbox, where you can plug in any astronomical situation you could think of and let it play out on the screen. You know, like you can set up the solar system, put 100 Earths in orbit around the sun, you know, or anything goofy, crazy you want to do. And so he uses that program to demonstrate the latest discoveries from scientific papers. And also, from time to time, he'll also do um, videos of what if we collided the sun with another sun? What would happen? You know, just weird things and what if type things. But anyway, but the thing that's so cool is at the very end of his videos, whenever he's signing off, you know, well, when he starts off, one thing, I love it, he'll say, "Hello, wonderful person." Who doesn't like being called wonderful? They're already getting brightened up, right? And at the end, when he goes, "Bye," and he smiles, he has the sweetest smile I've ever seen. Oh, his smile just will melt you. Just hold on for the smile, if nothing else, and it'll just brighten up your day. So, anyway, another place I like to go to on the internet is a site called Two Set Violin. TWO2, like the number 2, SCT set violin. And there's these two violin players that do it. And they are funny as heck. And they're both, you know, this is like a site aimed at classical music nerds, but anybody can enjoy it. But I will warn you that there's going to be a lot of music jokes going on that they will stop and explain for people who are not musicians, but meanwhile the musicians are already cracking up laughing for various reasons. And two fellas named Brett and Eddie. Uh, Eddie Chen and Brett Yang, I think, are their names. And they're these two guys in Australia. And they have, you know, they play the violin. They're professional musicians. And they're just funny. And they're a lot of fun. And they just do lighthearted things like, uh, like the other day I watched one of their videos to where they would show a snippet of a conductor conducting in front of an orchestra from an actual recording of an orchestra doing their thing, but they'd be silent. And just from the motions the conductor was making, they were trying to guess what the orchestra was playing. You know, so it's that kind of stuff. Just fun stuff, lighthearted, and it brightens up my day. And so, at any rate, another fella that I really like tuning in on is Beau of the Fifth Column. Beau, Beau. It's from French. We do that here in the South. Beau of the Fifth Column. He's a fella down in North Florida, up there in the northern peninsula, the redneck part of Florida. And yeah, he's a Southerner, but he's a journalist. And so, and what he does is he makes videos commenting on what's going on politically. He always has a point to make, and it's always a zinger that gets to the point. He is anti-Trump. His basic stance, I'm not really sure of the official word for what I'm fixing to describe, and in that community they have a label for this, but I don't know what the label is because I don't know anything about it. But he's basically, I would call him a pacifist anarchist, in that he would love for government to be granular down to the community level where everybody knows everybody, and whenever something happens and someone is in need, everybody shows up to help. And it's, you know, it's a flavor of anarchy, but I'm not sure what the anarchists call it because there's a zillion different varieties of anarchy, and in the anarchy movement and community they have particular labels for these, like I say, but I'm not in that community, so I don't know what they call it. So I call him a pacifist anarchist who is very blue, very liberal. He's very, very, very much into equality He's into uh, everyone starting on the level playing field and actually having a fair chance at things. He thinks it's criminal with how the rich are sucking our country dry. And so, as you can tell, I'm very firmly in his camp because I'm getting worked up here. So anyhow, so I don't know if he's necessarily a pick-me-up cheerful, but he sure does have some good, insightful things to say about the situation going on. And so if any of y'all out there want some independent, solid information, I would recommend him because he's, he's an independent point of view that's informed and not ignorant. And so I find it beneficial to hear what he has to say because it helps inform me and helps me to be a better informed and educated individual. And I, the lover of learning that I am, I cannot but consider that to be great that he's trying to do that. So, before I go any further, I do want to mention one of the reasons why I put off making this video because I didn't know if I was going to be able to do this without crying. And oh, it's getting real close. But anyway, about a week and a half ago, somebody passed away. One of my absolute favorite people on YouTube, Michael Brooks. He was brilliant. He was only in his 30s. He was young. He gave me hope, because he was very left and he was very intellectual into leftist thought and left philosophy. And I was learning a lot from him because he would explain things about Karl Marx and different ones in the left movement that would help me to understand what was going on better in that movement because I am left leaning, but I've always felt that the leftist movement was too extreme for me. And so just listening to him and what he had to say about things of the left, he was, like I said, he was a brilliant light on the in the field of left thought. And I was going, oh, by dang, there's hope for our world because the younger generation has got people like this coming along. We're going to be great. And then he passed away. I'm not for sure of the cause of his death. They say it was something sudden. The last I heard, I think it was his sister who said that it'd been like a sudden blood clot in his throat or something. And bam. Man, I was sure sorry to hear it. I cried for a week. And I couldn't help it, because he was such a wonderful, cheerful soul. Do go back and pull up some of his videos and watch them. Some of the things he had to say, wasn't just of the day things or more overarching things that would still apply. And he was always had a smile on his face. Sorry he's gone. I sure am. At any rate, I'm sorry about that. Oh, I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it through that or not. I'm sorry. Bear with me. Meanwhile, there's people in the Tyro community that I really like listening to because they pick me up. Cash Peters and his drawings and his artwork. I like that because as y'all seen in my past videos, I do a little bit of that myself, but he does it so much better than I do. I just do it to try to illustrate things I see in my dreams and such. But check him out because he always has a bright smile for everybody, and I like how at the beginning of his videos sometimes he'll imitate an old television star and go, "Hello, my darlings," and so that's a lot of fun. So go check him out. And Scott Allen and Sheila of Celtic Taro. I had already discovered the two of them independently, and I was already, following both of them. And then they started getting together on Sundays and doing that Scott and Sheila and coffee, Sunday morning coffee that they do. And so I enjoy listening to that. They're pretty cool. And I don't know any of these people personally, but I would like to imagine that these people whom I like would be decent folks to meet and get to know in real life, meaning face to face, not just me watching them and they don't even know I exist. But at any rate, so Scott and Sheila, they're good people. Go check them out. And Linda G she's interesting. I like it that she's part Native American. I am too, and I feel like uh, there is a lot of Native American spirituality that I wish there were a way that we could be more knowledgeable of in a respectful manner, because there's a lot that everybody could learn there, but I don't wish to be culturally appropriating anything either. I do smudge with sage, and I do a lot of exploration of Native American spirituality myself. It's part of my ancestry, and it's a way of honoring my ancestors. But since I am more white than I am Native American, I don't feel like I have the right to say anything about it or try to spread any thoughts or knowledge about Native American spirituality, because I do not feel like that my knowledge is firm enough to be shared with anyone. But I would encourage anyone to at least do your reading and find out what you can about various cultures, so that we can learn to be respectful to everybody. And I don't mean going to extremes. I mean, every once in a while you're going to run into a culture that something they do conflicts with something you do, so it's just a matter of tippy-toeing. But I don't think you have to automatically give ground because someone is different from you. You can be respectful of everybody without having to change and go by their ways, because they can respect your ways too. It's just a matter of just kind of getting to know everybody better, so we just kind of appreciate the variety and beauty that we have on this planet. Let's see, anyone else? Okay, that's mostly the sites I wanted to mention that were not openly political sites, because of course there's a bunch of political sites I go to and read and such, but I just wanted to mention some non-political stuff that I use to cheer myself up with, and that's a pretty good list to cover a lot of what I watch whenever I'm just kind of, like I say, needing a break from stuff. Mm. So anyway, other things that I've been doing to cope with everything is, well, for one thing, I'm a classically trained professional musician, so of course, music, music, music. I've been, um, the past few years, I've been dealing with some health issues, and so I had to quit practicing my instruments, which was driving me crazy. And so here lately, I've been getting back into practice again, and so really, I'm I'm zipped about that. That's, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And a recommendation that I would like to share, I'm going to share some recommendations now with everybody. Um, dust off an old skill. Think of something that you either used to enjoy doing and you haven't done it in a long, long time, almost, and or something that you enjoyed learning but you had to set down for whatever reason or didn't get to go for as long as you would like. Something like that. Pick something like that from your past, dust it off and polish it up and get it up and running again. For example, back when I was pregnant with my daughter, I had the opportunity finally to start studying Latin, and I really enjoyed that. But then life happened. My daughter came along. My husband was on his deathbed, essentially. He was in his last illness. I had to take care of life. So I did. So Latin got stuck up on a shelf back in the back of my head. Well, here recently, I was going, well, gee, I'm, kind of cooped up here because of COVID, really can't get out and about, but I do have the internet and I do have my Latin books, so why not just kind of get that dusted off and back up and happening again? So I've been doing that, and that's been cool, because I was able to take enough Latin. I had 2 semesters of it there at college that I can continue going under my own steam, at least on prose Latin. I am going to have to find some good sources, maybe some YouTube sources on poetic Latin, because I had not had a chance to study that yet. And with any language I've ever run into, and I'm a language lover, and I've done my fair share of learning languages along the way, because it's just one of those things my brain likes. But in every language I've ever experienced, the poetic form of that language is usually quite a bit different than the prose and talking forms of the language. And so, but it's really interesting and fascinating though to kind of get a sense of the language, of where they come from, expressing themselves verbally, and then comparing it with what they choose to do to structure it into poetry to sing to the gods with, and how they do that. It's okay. I'm a nerd. I'm nerding out on you. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, okay. Focus. Okay. Um, Now, something else that y'all already know that I'm an advocate of is to learn something new. There's no such thing as running out of learning. And learning doesn't have to be the dull, I'm sitting at a desk reading from a textbook. No, I mean, that's another aspect of learning, and I suspect there's a 75-cent word for that I can't recall right offhand at the moment. Um, but like, for example, you remember recently I was telling you that I'm going to get serious about studying numerology. Now, I was holding up the books. They're right over here now, right where I can get to them and be studying, holding up the books. So I've been working on that. But I'm not far enough along to do a video on it yet. But I'll just let you know that I'm having fun digging into that, and that's cool. And so, and now there's something else that I was wanting to share. Um, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but traditionally, way back when, it was traditional with witchcraft to have a physical aspect going along. I suspect that went along with being the shaman of the tribe, to where you needed to tell a story of what the gods had to say by using, physical things to help the people see as well as hear what's going on and be able to touch the unknown more directly. And um, so it became traditional with witchcraft to have a physical aspect add to it if one wanted. And this is the basis of what today we call stage magic, the legerdemain stuff, the sleight of hand stuff. To um, I've heard stories of like people who are laying the cards also do some sleight of hand to make the cards do unexpected things to capture the attention of the people that they're wanting to, do card layouts for. And so I at any rate, I've always felt that to be a well-rounded witch, I just for myself, and I'm not saying this applies to anybody else, because witchcraft has many branches and leaves to it, just like any other spiritual system. There's many flavors of Buddhism, yes? I suspect there's many flavors of Hinduism, because if nothing else, good lordy, the Hindus, have they got a pantheon or what? Oh God, I respect it, but God, overwhelming. So, and there's many different branches and flavors of Christianity. There's different branches and flavors of Judaism. So it goes on and on. And so, yes, so there's different branches and flavors of paganism and witchcraft and everything like that. And so for myself, I greatly appreciate and enjoy doing the spiritual side of witchcraft and the divining side of my spirituality with the cards and the rune stones and such. But I always wanted to add something physical to it just to kind of balance it out, just because. And there is a skill that I've been wanting to learn ever since I was a teenager, ever since my mid-teens, like around 14, 15. There's been something that I've been wanting to learn how to do. And so I'm going, well, okay, why not? And so I started digging on the internet for information. And sure enough, yes, there is a sport group that does this particular activity, and there are sources for getting the equipment that I would need for doing this activity. And I'm looking forward to doing that. So now I'm making a very careful shopping list so I can get the equipment I need so that I can start doing this. And you're going, okay, Brenda, okay, a bag of stones. You're, you know, building up here. Tell us what the heck it is. Okay, fine. So, I want to learn how to pick locks. Not because I'm a thief, no. I love puzzles, and locks are like a little nugget of three-dimensional puzzle just waiting to be solved. Yes. So, I'm very excited about that. So I'm shopping for an affordable set of lock picks. Now, I do know how to make lock picks. I just don't have all the equipment for doing it. But eventually I'm going to get a shop set up on my back porch so I can make my own. It'd be straightforward enough. And I have quite a bit of the equipment from my husband's, shop related equipment that I inherited from him. But at any rate, so I'm going to be getting some lock picks and some. I'm going to be going to calling around at the auction barn and such and see if they have like a bucket of orphan locks being used as a doorstop or something. And I'm going to be hunting down what I call orphan locks. Orphan locks, a combination lock that no one knows the combination to, or a lock who's lost its key. Orphan locks. Perfect. Exactly what I need for learning how to pick locks. And so it's just one of those things I've always wanted to learn. And as long as I'm staying legal with it, there's no problem. And all the lock sports, that's what they call it, lock sport, lock picking, lock sports, say, stay safe, stay legal, only pick locks that are yours. And so I'm only going to either pick locks that are mine, or like if a friend whom I know comes to me and says, I can't get my toolbox open, can you help me out here? Or whatever, if my next door neighbor, if the lock on their shed acts up, I can go over there and help them out because they come over and help me out with things that I'm not able to do. So turnabout's fair play. So at any rate, so learning a new skill, it's always exciting and definitely brightens everything up and gives you something to dive into. Now, even if you don't pursue it long term, although it's great to pursue things long term, don't get me wrong. Look at me. Did I not pursue music long term? Oh, yes, I have. Oh, yes, I have. In fact, when I started music, I'll give you an idea on this one. When I started learning music, President Kennedy was still in the White House. Okay, so yeah, I've been involved with music for a while. So yes, but there's no shame in short-term projects too, because you can dive into something all enthused and say, "Yeah, I want to learn this," and you start learning it, and you're going, "Oh yeah, this is interesting. Well, I'm glad I found out about this, but okay, I'm satisfied. I'd like to learn something else now." Sorry, my nose is itching quite badly right now. And so you go to something else, and there's no shame in grazing a little bit. And then you find something, you're going, oh, I want to dive into this and find out more. Than hell's bells. Yeah, go for it. Don't hold back, you know? Just do stuff like that to keep your mind bright and happy. And so, and speaking of which, bright and happy, nothing beats, if you really want to be doing something interesting, you got a rainy after, well, not rainy, the internet goes down when it rains. Some afternoon where, especially now, when you're having to stay in and not, and be socially distanced from folks, nothing beats a good rabbit hole, don't you think? Boy, I have run into some of the most interesting things because the algorithm will throw up something strange in my recommended feed, and I'm going, what the heck? And I click on it, and I click, and I click, and I click, and I end up at a website that I've never heard of before that has all kinds of weird and fascinating things. Nothing beats a good rabbit hole, you know? Like the latest information about the government cover up of UFOs, you know? Rabbit holes, weird things, stuff that capture the attention, the imagination, and just for no other reason that it expands the horizon a bit in interesting directions. So, how long is this getting to be? I'm suspecting my tape is, oh goodness. Yeah, I was going to do some card reading, but I've gone on longer than I anticipated, and so I think I need to go ahead and wind this. I'll do one throw of the cards. I want to know what, between now and the election, how are things going to be for Donald Trump? President Donald Trump. How are things going to be between now and the election for him? All right. 1, 2, 3. Just going to do a real quick one here because this video's been so long. And it's gonna take about 24 hours to upload. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I never did mention it is now August the 6th, 2020, and it's 9:03 a.m. in the morning. 9:03 Central Daylight Time. So, all right, I have here is coming from position of the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles, very pragmatic person. Basically looks at things as being a zero-sum game. Gain from something over here, that means somebody lost. You lose something over here, somebody gained at your advantage. She's very pragmatic about things, a very realist, and knows that, you know, the acquisition of money is sometimes an ugly scene, and she accepts that and goes on. And that pretty well fits his past. Okay, right now his present is the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups. All of your dreams are coming true. Everything is rosy. You're at your pinnacle, at your peak, at the top of your game. Everything is great. You get the idea, and that, yeah, pretty well fits. I mean, after all, he is the leader of the most powerful nation on the planet. He is the president of the United States, even though he doesn't appreciate the position and he doesn't have any gravitas about it or any sense of history. He's still there. He's at the top of his pinnacle. However, his future, oh, because I did say between now and the November election, what do we have here? We have the Three of Swords. Heartbreak. Pain. See, the Three Swords are stabbing him through the heart. Everything's going to come down on him. And he ain't going to be a happy puppy when he does. So, anyway, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. And, like I say, after I get this one uploaded, it's going to take over a day to get it uploaded. And, as I'm able to while the weather stays temperate, I'll try to get some things uploaded because, like I said, when it was hot, this poor baby did not want to work, at least not long enough to be able to upload a video because these computers, they can't take it when it's in the 90s around them. They like it cooler. And so, and even as it is, even though right now it's in the upper 60s, I still have a fan blowing on this to keep it cooled off as much as possible because it's going to have to go through the heat of the afternoon uploading this video. So I'm trying to keep it level here so we can get this uploaded. But anyway, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And do me a favor, okay? Stay safe, be well. Peace.